One of the advantages of being the old guy, that's what I get called all the time, is that I get to travel the country and I get to fish just about any kind of condition. You know, as you can see looking around us, it's absolutely great flipping water. It's absolutely great pitching water. And one of the baits, if I could only have one bait that I could take everything else away from me, it's going to be a ring tube. And it's just a soft plastic tube, really nothing special about it. You know, the creature baits, everything about creature baits has kicked, you know, you got brush hogs, you got all these different baits, you know, and honestly, a simple sometimes is better. And I like to rig, this is a Gene Larew Mega Ring Tube, and my buddies are gonna kill me for this, but it is probably, if I had one bait, it's it. This is the deal. And the main reason for it, it's so versatile. I've fished all over the country. I've fished Texas, I've fished Kentucky, I've fished Illinois, I've fished Minnesota, I've fished everywhere you could possibly fish. Caught fish on this bait every single time I've been on the water. And there's some things I do that might be different than something you do, and I'm gonna show you how to rig this the way I rig it, and hopefully you'll be able to maybe mimic it, maybe do something with it, and also maybe catch a few fish that you might not have caught. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a ring tube, and one of the first things I do is I always use a stopper when I'm pitching. And a lot of guys won't do that, but I think it's very, very important to have a stopper, and really kind of depends. This water's fairly clear, but I like using black when I can. And basically what you get is a bobber stop. That's all that is. And you just slide that bobber stop on there. I will give you a little tip on these bobber stops, is that they're different sizes. And what you want to do is you want to make sure when you get your bobber stop on, you're kinking the line a little bit, is what you're doing. So when I get that pulled through, just like I did there, you're going to see when I pull this all the way up on here, that I put a kink in the line. That is a place, that's just a piece of line that you get rid of. And I never throw line on the lake. I always put it in the boat and then throw it away when I get back. But there's your bobber stop. That's going to be able to be pulled down on your weight. Then you want some tungsten. And I think tungsten is really a good product to use because it's so dense, you can use a lot smaller weight and you can still pitch it just as far. And I'll put that tungsten on, just run it right straight down the center of the tungsten so it comes to the stop. I like a straight shank hook for this tube. For some reason, this is 6/0 and it's a straight shank hook, and the keeper is really important on it, but it's really important for you to be able to tie a good knot too. And everybody's got their favorite. Mine happens to be a San Diego jam knot. That's my favorite. I tie it on everything, but you just basically wrap it around a few times, and I won't do it as many as I would, but you do it about 5 or 6 times, and then just run it right back through the eye, just like that. And you're gonna tie that, get it a little bit wet so you don't burn it. I fish a straight shank hook, and the reason why is you don't get as much line twist. And I think with this tube, it has a tendency, no matter what you do, if you don't rig it straight, it'll twist. So what I like to do is I like a straight shank hook. I just think it keels better, which means it comes through the water better. I've actually had fish eat the bait when you're reeling it in. But anyway, we're gonna clip off this tag. And again, for the environment, I never ever leave any line in the water. Then what I do is I take this tube, and you'll notice on this tube, if you look real close, there's a mold line. And that basically is a line that keeps this bait straight. So when I put it in, I'm gonna go down to the turn of the hook, and then I'm gonna push it out right there on that line. So it's gonna be right on that line where that splits at. Then you're gonna push it up on there and turn it. Not done yet. I also use a rattle. And basically what I do is Zoom makes a really good 1-bead rattle, and I think that's plenty. It basically makes it sound a little bit like a crawfish. And I'll push that tube up in there, that rattle up in that tube. And this is the key. This is a secret part of this deal. Now you guys, this is a secret part of that is that rattle. A lot of guys will rig it and they won't put that on there. Okay, then the final step, I'm gonna go ahead and hook it. And it's hollow, so you wanna make sure you hook it. You wanna make sure that it's hanging straight. When you look at it, you wanna make sure that bait is hanging straight. Gotta push it up just a little bit further. And see, that bait will hang pretty straight, okay? Then the last thing, the major ingredient that I always use is I always tip the tentacles just a little bit with dip and dye. And the main reason for that is I think it gives it a little bit of flash. And when you put it in there, you don't have to get the whole tube, but just a little bit of the tube, just like that, and it gives it just a little bit of flash. I mix the dip and dyes that I use, and you can use whatever brand you want to. I put just a little bit of blue in it. Chartreuse, if you get chartreuse, The problem with chartreuse is it's too bright. And so I tone it down. I put a little bit of blue dye in it. And that's kind of a tip that you can use. You can mix dyes up. And the main thing you find out is that just a little bit less obtrusive. It just doesn't boom, blast you like you're catching walleye. It's something you can do there. That's the rig, that's the deal. That's a good flipping bait. You can cast it, you can fish points with it, but that is a great flipping bait. Gene Larew, Mega Ring Tube.
Check us out at wired2fish.com.